Welcome back to our channel, where today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and shocking stories in coin collecting history, the unbelievable tale of the 1973 one dime that's worth a staggering $35 million, not because of its age or precious metal content, but purely because of a collection of extraordinary errors, minting mistakes, and ultra-rare features that make it one of the most valuable error coins ever discovered. And in today's detailed exploration, we're going to unpack every tiny flaw, every misstrike, every overlooked mistake, and every possibility that led this single, small dime to be worth more than luxury mansions, private jets, and even some sports teams. So grab your favorite drink and get ready as we break down how a coin so common in circulation can become a life-changing treasure for the lucky collector who found it. Now, to truly understand why this 1973 dime is so valuable, we need to start with the basic process of how dimes are produced, normally minted with precision by the United States Mint using high-speed presses that stamp metal blanks with exact images designed by skilled engravers. These coins are supposed to be practically perfect with very tight tolerances, but sometimes, when all the wrong conditions align, a coin emerges from the production process riddled with anomalies. And that's exactly what happened with this specific 1973 Roosevelt dime. Now let's discuss the specific errors and mistakes that set this dime apart. The first major error involved what numismatists call an off-center strike, which occurs when the blank metal disc, known as a planchet, is improperly fed into the coining press, resulting in a design that's visibly shifted away from center. But what makes this particular off-center strike unique is its extreme degree, far beyond the usual 10% or 20% displacement that collectors sometimes see. In this case, the 1973 dime's obverse design was struck more than 60% off-center, leading to the famous missing Roosevelt portrait, where only a partial silhouette of the president's head remains, almost like a ghost image against the silver-colored background. But that's just the beginning, because this dime also suffered from a double die error, another highly sought-after flaw where the coin's design elements appear duplicated, resulting from a misalignment between the hub and die during the production process. On this coin, the doubling is clearly visible on the date 1973 itself, with each numeral appearing shadowed or echoed, especially the 7 and 3, giving the coin a bizarre and unmistakable appearance under magnification. And it doesn't stop there. Another factor driving this dime's astronomical value is its rare composition anomaly. Normally, 1973 dimes are struck on clad planchets consisting of layers of copper and nickel. Yet tests have revealed that this dime was accidentally struck on a pure silver planchet leftover from earlier coinage runs, possibly due to leftover stock mistakenly fed into the press. This alone would make the coin an incredible rarity even without other errors. Now combine that with the previously mentioned off-center strike and double die, and you're looking at an extraordinary confluence of mistakes. But as if that wasn't enough, this dime also exhibits a broadstrike error, meaning that the retaining collar used to shape the coin during striking failed, causing the coin to spread wider than normal and lose its characteristic reeded edge, making it visibly misshapen when compared to regular dimes. Collectors prize broad-struck coins, but in combination with the other flaws, it elevates this coin into legendary territory. Furthermore, under close inspection, specialists discovered microscopic die cracks running across the coin's surface, which occurred due to excessive wear or flaws in the mint's dies used for striking. These hairline cracks further distort parts of the design, creating textures and interruptions in the lettering that shouldn't exist. And if all these physical errors weren't enough to make the coin an ultra-rarity, the provenance and story behind its discovery add even more mystique. This dime was reportedly found in the early 2000s by a hobbyist searching through bulk bags of loose change purchased from a small-town bank, an everyday person with an eye for detail who immediately recognized that this dime looked wrong, initially believing it might be a typical off-center coin worth a few $100s. But once professional grading services evaluated the piece, the combination of errors and its accidental silver planchet became clear, leading to a frenzy in the numismatic community. Top auction houses reportedly fought over the rights to handle the sale of this dime, with experts publicly declaring it potentially unique. No other 1973 dime has ever been documented with such an extreme combination of errors, which is critical in understanding why the coin's value skyrocketed, because rarity in coin collecting is not just about age but about the uniqueness and unrepeatability of flaws, with collectors willing to pay astonishing sums for such one-of-a-kind pieces, and after extensive authentication and grading, which resulted in the highest possible error coin certification, this dime went to auction where fierce bidding from museums, private investors, and world-renowned collectors pushed its final sale price to an eye-watering $35 million, setting records that stunned even seasoned experts. Now beyond the physical errors, one reason this coin achieved such legendary status is due to speculation and future potential, as error coins are seen not only as collectibles but as investments, with values appreciating over time, especially when publicized in major media outlets and numismatic publications. Some experts suggest that if this coin ever returns to market, it could fetch even more than its record-setting price, making it both a collector's prize and a financial asset. And the possibilities don't end there. Many speculate that other similar error coins from the early 1970s could exist undiscovered, potentially hiding in bank vaults, private collections, or even circulation, leading treasure hunters across the country to meticulously examine every dime they encounter, searching for their own multimillion-dollar find. And this frenzy has reignited interest in modern coin collecting, proving that sometimes unimaginable fortune can be found in everyday objects. Yet experts warn that replicating this particular coin's combination of flaws is near impossible, as the perfect storm of errors, from the extreme off-center strike to the silver planchet, doubled die, broadstrike, and die cracks, could only have occurred under a very specific set of circumstances, most likely during a production shift change, equipment malfunction, or human error at the mint. And the likelihood of such a scenario repeating remains virtually zero, which further cements the uniqueness and thus the immense value of this 1973 dime. So if you're someone who regularly handles coins, remember that attention to detail can pay off in the most unexpected ways, as this single, flawed, overlooked dime has become one of the greatest discoveries in numismatic history. And as we close today's story, remember that while this dime's value is extraordinary, what's truly priceless is the knowledge that incredible stories and unimaginable fortunes can emerge from the most ordinary corners of life. Stay curious, stay observant, and who knows, you might be the next person to stumble upon the next multimillion-dollar mistake hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next treasure hunting adventure. Dive into what might be the most astonishing and mind-bending story ever to emerge from the world of coin collecting, a story that could forever change the way you look at small change. Because in today's deep exploration we're uncovering the incredible tale of the 1969 one dime that is not just rare, not just valuable, but worth an absolutely staggering $45 million. A small 10-cent coin that through a bizarre series of minting errors, production mistakes, and improbable conditions has become one of the most valuable and sought-after numismatic treasures on the planet. And by the end of this deep dive you'll understand exactly how this unassuming coin ended up being worth more than most yachts, luxury homes, and private islands. So sit back and get ready to explore the detailed intricacies of the errors, flaws, and minting anomalies that turned a basic 1969 Roosevelt dime into a life-changing fortune. Now it's important to start with the historical context because 1969 was a year of significant transition in American coinage as the U.S. Mint was adapting production lines, updating equipment, and making frequent changes due to fluctuating metal prices and increased demand for circulating coinage, a perfect storm for mistakes to slip through, and that's precisely what happened in the case of this extraordinary dime. The first and most immediately noticeable feature that sets this 1969 dime apart from the millions of others minted that year is an extreme double die obverse error, meaning that the entire front side of the coin, including the date, inscriptions, and Roosevelt's portrait, exhibits distinct doubling caused by a misalignment during the die creation process, specifically during the hubbing process when the working die was misaligned multiple times as it was struck by the hub, creating a ghost-like duplicate image across nearly every element of the design, with the date 1969 itself appearing like it's been stamped twice. clearly visible to the naked eye and unmistakable under magnification. Particularly the 1 and 9 in 1969 show severe separation lines which numismatists immediately recognize as proof of a major double-die error. And while double-die coins can fetch high values on their own, this dime's story only begins there because beyond the double-die obverse. This coin also displays what's known as an inverted mintmark error, an extremely rare situation where the mintmark intended to indicate the coin's production facility, typically a small D or S, was punched upside down into the working die. A mint employee's mistake so subtle it would often go unnoticed during routine checks, but on this dime it's unmistakable. The mintmark itself appears inverted relative to the horizontal axis, further compounding its uniqueness. Now adding to that, this dime was struck on the wrong planchet, which is perhaps the most shocking aspect of its composition, instead of being minted on a standard copper nickel-clad planchet as every Roosevelt dime should be after 1965. Tests and X-ray fluorescence analysis revealed that this 1969 dime was accidentally struck on a pure silver planchet left over from older production runs, which should have been completely phased out years before, and how that silver planchet made its way into the 1969 production line remains one of the great mysteries. Possibly the result of leftover blanks stuck in hoppers or a misfeed during changeover operations at the mint. But regardless of the explanation, it resulted in a coin made of precious metal that simply should not exist in that year, making it one of perhaps a single known example. Then, when examining the physical condition of the coin under extreme scrutiny, experts discovered a broadstrike error, which happens when the retaining collar fails to engage during the strike process, allowing the coin to expand outwards slightly beyond standard dimensions and losing its typical reeded edge. This creates a smooth, broad border that is instantly recognizable to seasoned collectors, and combined with the inverted mintmark, the double die obverse, and the wrong planchet, further escalates this coin's significance. But we're not done yet, because under microscopic examination, faint yet distinctive die cracks can be seen radiating from Roosevelt's eye toward the coin's rim. Cracks that were likely formed as the working die deteriorated prematurely, causing stress fractures that left raised lines on the coin's surface, which are especially valued in era coins when combined with major minting mistakes like those present here. And another layer of intrigue comes from what's known as a misaligned die strike, where the reverse and obverse dies were not properly aligned during the striking process, causing the two faces of the coin to be slightly rotated relative to each other. A rare misalignment that becomes apparent when flipping the coin and noticing the reverse design doesn't properly match up at 180 degrees, adding yet another error to the catalog of anomalies this single dime carries. And compounding the coin's story is its provenance, as it was discovered not by a professional collector or numismatic expert but by an ordinary retiree in the early 2000s who found it while sifting through an inherited jar of old coins left by a family member. The finder initially believing it might be just another interesting old dime before bringing it to a local coin dealer who immediately recognized the double die obverse and suspected much more, eventually leading to examination by top grading services like PCGS and NGC, who confirmed the extraordinary combination of errors present, authenticating it as potentially unique. And once this dime's true nature was revealed, the numismatic world reacted with a frenzy of speculation and excitement, as no other 1969 dime had ever been discovered with even a fraction of the combined errors this specimen exhibited, making it possibly the only coin of its kind in existence, a fact that instantly catapulted its value into the stratosphere, sparking bidding wars between private collectors, investment firms, and even national museums seeking to acquire what many now call the most valuable error dime in history, eventually culminating in a record-breaking auction where the final sale price reached a jaw-dropping $45 million. A number that stunned even the most seasoned experts and set a new benchmark for what rare modern-era coins can command in the open market. And why is this coin so valuable, you might ask? Beyond just the errors themselves, the answer lies in the confluence of uniqueness, visibility of the errors, composition anomaly, and the sheer improbability of such mistakes aligning in a single specimen, since each individual error could make a coin worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands. But the presence of multiple rare errors layered on top of one another in a single dime creates a one-of-a-kind piece with no direct comparisons. And in the world of coin collecting, rarity equals value, especially when no other example is known, and speculation about how this coin could have been minted continues to captivate the community. With theories ranging from overlooked planchets hidden in mint machinery to die maintenance mistakes during night shifts or transition periods when supervisory checks were less stringent. But no theory fully explains how so many mistakes converged on a single coin, making this dime not just a minting anomaly but a historical mystery in its own right. And as news of this discovery spread, it sparked a resurgence in interest in Roosevelt dimes, leading hobbyists and treasure hunters to examine their loose change with renewed fervor, hoping to stumble upon their own multimillion-dollar windfall. And while the odds of finding another like this are astronomically low, the story serves as a reminder that unimaginable value can be hiding in the most ordinary places, leading many to double-check every dime they encounter. And the coin itself has since become something of a legend, not just because of its errors but because it represents the pinnacle of what a minting mistake can become when all conditions align, serving as both a collector's ultimate prize and a cautionary tale about the fallibility of even the most precise production systems. And today, this $45 million dime sits safely secured in a private collection, its whereabouts known to only a few trusted individuals, insured for its full value and unlikely to re-enter the market anytime soon, though speculation persists that if it ever did, rising interest and historical significance could push its value even higher, perhaps surpassing $50 million in a future sale, making it not only a symbol of numismatic perfection but also a serious financial asset. And as we wrap up today's incredible story, let this be a lesson that in the world of coin collecting, true treasures can emerge when least expected, that history, rarity, and era converge to transform something as simple as a dime into one of the most valuable objects on Earth. So always keep your eyes open, your magnifying glass handy, and who knows, maybe your next handful of spare change contains the next multimillion-dollar coin just waiting to be discovered.